Those who receive reparations from the Qing will eventually become like the Qing. The United States is no exception. The United States has already fallen. Philadelphia has appeared. Zombie-like figures due to marijuana. The mayor of a city in America openly stated he wants to distribute fentanyl to the homeless. Fentanyl is a type of drug. The US is distributing drugs to its own people. This is unheard of. The US is waging an opium war against itself. The United States was part of the Eight-Nation Alliance. This is truly ironic. Karma is real. As the powers climb each peak, they find the Qing is already waiting. The cause of future outbreaks may be linked to marijuana prices. Do you know how much it costs to buy marijuana now? 500,000 marks. Sometimes, one truly feels grateful to the US. With less than 5% of the world's population, the US consumes 80% of global opioid medications. This is a sacrifice of a few for the many. Without the US, the difficulty of drug enforcement would greatly increase. Unlike others, the US has a remarkable company called Purdue Pharma. It has devastated America's industrial elite. It has ruined an entire generation of American youth. It has lowered the level of corruption to that of Africa's Mobutu. It has extinguished the conscience of the academic community. The military has become a shell of its former self. This is due to the invention of a new opioid. OxyContin is somewhat addictive. But if taken in small doses under medical advice, it can be effective. However, here's the issue. OxyContin is Purdue's biggest income source. From 1996 to 2019, it generated $34 billion. Most of it came from OxyContin sales, which accounted for 80% of profits in 2001. If only small amounts were sold, how would Purdue make money? Initially, Purdue paid over 3,000 doctors to promote OxyContin. From 1996 to 2000, Purdue spent $207 million to increase its sales team from 310 to 671. They also expanded their doctor contacts from about 35,000 to 80,000. Purdue even collaborated with McKinsey. They developed a strategy to reward patient addiction. For each confirmed patient, distributors received a bonus of $14,800. Even the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, was influenced by Purdue's revolving door practices. Some FDA executives became Purdue officials. OxyContin sales soared. From under 5 million in 1996, it reached over 3 billion by 2010. In 2001 alone, Purdue made $1 billion from OxyContin. Then things began to spiral out of control. Over 7 million Americans became dependent on drugs, causing 560,000 deaths. The number of deaths from fentanyl continues to rise. Purdue claims to help people, but it doesn't mention the harm it causes. History shows that where drugs go, destruction follows. Germany has now legalized marijuana. And now, Germany's per capita electricity consumption has returned to 1979 levels. The US is winning with marijuana. The reason marijuana can't enter other countries is simple. It's all about money. In 2022, the marijuana industry generated an astonishing $30 billion in the US. It's projected to reach $65 billion by 2030. In just 8 years, it could double. The future is a $100 billion industry. After legalization, many addicts will be attracted to the U.S. Whether this money flows into the black market or the legal market, it all stays in the U.S. The U.S. has won with marijuana. And it's a big win. Some American lawmakers believe that rather than allowing marijuana to align with Mexican gangs, they should befriend marijuana directly. This would eliminate middlemen profiting from the trade. In fact, most states in America have legalized marijuana. The darker the color on this map, the more legal marijuana is. Currently, only 3 states have illegal marijuana. In 47 states, 37 allow medical marijuana. 24 states permit recreational use. Instead of letting foreigners profit, once marijuana is legalized, he prefers to produce and sell locally, keeping the money within the country. It brings considerable revenue. For example, in Colorado, for the United States, cannabis is not just business since legalization in 2014, but also votes. Tax revenue has exceeded $1 billion. The U.S. population is only 335 million. Alaska, a tourist destination in North America, but by 2024, over 2 million visitors annually will be using cannabis. Over 2/3 of Americans support legalization by over $2 billion. Marijuana consumption has become one of the reasons tourists visit. 2/3 equals 200 million people. That's a lot of votes. If America supports legalization, it can earn money and gain votes. That's a win-win situation. How did the former beacon of humanity end up like this? Ultimately, it's due to deindustrialization in America. The U.S. manufacturing sector was once so powerful that it seemed hopeless. Now, U.S. manufacturing value added is only 30% of the global total, which is the level before World War II. After World War II, in 1945, manufacturing jobs accounted for 38% of the population. In 1950, manufacturing output was 42% of the global total. Then, the U.S. thrived even more. From the 1950s to the 1970s, U.S. GDP accounted for 33% to 56% of the world. The stock market surged, with industrial output at 43% of the global total. Gold reserves were 72% of the global total. In 1960, U.S. GDP surpassed that of the next 9 countries combined, including Japan, France, and the UK. The U.S. had over 5,000 military bases abroad, with its military influence covering much of the globe. Only a small area near the Soviet Union was not under U.S. coverage, especially after the Soviet Union collapsed. The U.S. reaped the most benefits. America became unprecedentedly strong. Cars produced by General Motors and Ford were everywhere. With an annual production of 1,180,000, there was 1 car for every 1.3 Americans. However, this all changed with the shift in U.S. manufacturing. Since 1970, U.S. manufacturing jobs fell from about 19 million to 2.9 million. By 1990, it dropped to under 12 million. This decline exceeded 30%. Moreover, the contribution of manufacturing to GDP fell from about 25% in 1970 to about 11% in 2020. Since 1970, the U.S. trade deficit has soared, especially after 1990. The U.S. manufacturing sector suffered significant losses. What could once be produced can no longer be made. What was once unnecessary to buy now needs to be purchased. What happened in the 1990s? The Soviet Union collapsed and there was a major shift in U.S. manufacturing. The U.S. considered itself the only superpower. Thus, it moved many low to mid-end industries overseas, retaining only some high-end industries. East Asia absorbed the U.S. offshoring, leading to explosive growth in their manufacturing. Japan was the first to take on U.S. production. And later, this production shifted to East Asia. East Asia became an important manufacturing base due to its large market and low labor costs. This chart clearly shows the changes in U.S. manufacturing employment. After East Asia joined the WTO in 2001, U.S. manufacturing jobs began to decline sharply. In just 10 years. Although the U.S. population grew, manufacturing jobs lost one-third of their workforce. From 17 million manufacturing jobs in 2001, it dropped to 12 million. This led to America's Rust Belt. Over 10 million people were unemployed. Previously, many factory workers were the backbone of society. But now they have become the forgotten class. Harsh realities and meager incomes have made drugs the only solace for the lower class. In these industrial towns abandoned by capital, fentanyl spreads like a plague. Factories close down, and the fates of unemployed individuals are ultimately handed over to fentanyl. From America, he sees shadows of the late Qing dynasty. Lin Zexu's words resonate. Without soldiers to defend the land, there will be no wealth to enjoy. This is not only applicable to us. However, America seems to lack a Lin Zexu and the soil that breeds one. In the end, if he likes this video, he should like and subscribe. That way, he can see the next update first.